Hi guys, welcome to another lecture. The lecture is on interpretation of dreams. Um, right now, of course, we're just going to continue with like the pre-discussion before we get into the piece of work. Going to discuss some of the things that make this piece of work something that's worth um, giving a read. Why has it set structure to the science of philosophy? How has it set structure to the science of philosophy? Um, and why is it something so important? Now, everything aside, all theories aside, one idea that this piece of work introduced us um, to is the topography or the map of thought process that this piece of work was able to create for us, which divided the mind into three parts: an unconscious mind, a pre-conscious mind, and a conscious mind. Now, there is a possibility that in the real world, that's not the way that a brain or a mind operates. There's that whole possibility. But when you think about thinking of ideas now, when you think about thinking of developing a concept, thinking of making a character, um, then this division between an unconscious, pre-conscious, and conscious mind, um, it really helps you. Um, it helps you also with investigative imagination. Um, with this piece of work, of course, it kind of also suggests the idea of personal confession, which is okay, I guess. But the reality is that now there are two theories to it, right? In literature, that one theory is that everybody knows exactly what they're doing. Then another theory is that you should give yourself the benefit of doubt. Um, there are all of those things. Then, then of course, this piece of work was also the discovery of the whole theory, which suggested that a boy will have this unconscious disposition towards maternal incest, and a girl will have this unconscious disposition towards um, patricide, all of that stuff, which make it really controversial. And again, before I started this, I said that because on this platform we do things for the sake of literature, and we're referring to this piece of work as a piece of literature, take it like that. The thing is that despite all of these theories, the way that this guy has put these theories together, right? As I said, the whole division between the three parts of a mind. Um, those things, I think, not I think, but even if you see it today in how philosophy has been done, how critical analysis has been done over the years, um, how now ideas are formed. Um, the whole three stages thingy, all of that stuff. it's perhaps only circling back to interpretation of dreams. When we read into this work, you'll realize that there's a lot of detail, right? Like, for example, this whole patricide concept or the theory that he had, that's one. But the way he's tried to work up on that theory with with drawing this map for us, that's the way that he's challenged things or changed things in a lot of ways. Um, and that's the way he's set course for a lot of things. Then, of course, there's a lot of theoretical demonstration um, in this piece of work, which is, when we read it, you would get like, why is it so difficult to understand in the first reading, and why do people need to cross refer this that, um, and why is it said to be this whole project for a scientific psychology, an audacious but inevitably doomed attempt to solve the mind body problem, which is still obviously not solved. Um, which is why, again, I'm reiterating that when I started, I said that it's a theory he suggested, it's a piece of literary work he created. But that piece of literary work, just like, for example, when we talk about, a book like Wuthering Heights today, Wuthering Heights inspired a lot of pieces of work, right? Wuthering Heights showed us how to write a grey character. What is Heathcliff? Heathcliff is Christian Grey, just not that psyched up. I'm sorry, psyched up is not the right term, but the circumstances are different. The setting is different. Who is that character from the Twilight series? I think it's Edward. Who is he? He's Heathcliff. Today, when you see movies like, say, this Spanish movie that they came out with, 365 Days or something like that, what was that character? That character was Heathcliff. Heathcliff himself. Who is Heathcliff? Heathcliff also has his traces in different mythologies. So it's always like a literary piece of work has pushed out certain other pieces of literary pieces of work, inspired certain other literary pieces of work, so on and so forth, and some have been more influential in that process than others, like interpretation of dreams has been. So before we start the course, I'm not saying that definitely read it on your own, because I get that it's a very daunting read. It's disturbing. It's very triggering. But before you start the course, what I would say is that with the topography of the mind that he's drawn, and I'll give this as a written task in the notes, try to draw out characters like that. Like right now, for example, we spoke that Heathcliff is an original character, but he has his roots back in Greek mythology. But and not just Greek mythology, but I'm not going to say much right now because there might be a task that I'll give related to that later in the series of these lectures. But draw topography like this of characters. Pick a first character, then a second character that it may have inspired, and then a third one. So, like, right now I said Heathcliff, Edward, and then the third one was Grey. Do this for some other character, pick any character and do it for them. And I know usually I don't talk about the task in the lecture, but then try to write an ontological essay and don't write it for less than 2500 words. I know when I say don't write it for less than 2500 words, it feels really daunting, right? It feels like, oh my god, is this a CAIE exam or something like that? But or is this like a research paper? But don't write less than 2500 words. And there's a certain structure that I'll give in the notes. Follow that structure to write your answer. And in that answer, then connect it to the unconscious, pre-conscious, and conscious domains. Based on the structure that is given. And also for this task, I'll give a rubrics also. Read through the rubrics and then structure your answer like that. Don't follow the CIE pattern, don't follow the pattern of a research paper or anything. I'll give a separate structure for it. Follow that structure. Build your answer with regards to those three characters in those three domains. And yeah, and then listen to or continue with the next lecture. Once you're able to actually do this, it will solve for quite a lot. See you guys in another lecture. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up as well as subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to stay updated for whenever a new lecture drops in.